Today I discuss 6 steps to finding the meaning of life. Now this is a big topic. Probably I'm going to have to make several videos. In discussing finding the meaning of life, we shall visit what is probably the most famous waterfall in the Lake District. It's called Aira Force. See you there.
On the way, I drove past Dalemain House, which is renowned, among other things, for its marmalade. Step 1. Reflect sooner rather than later. So here I am at Aira Force. I'm on my way to the waterfall.
So when do we reflect, for example, on our health? Usually when something happens. And sometimes when something happens, it can be a little bit too late. So prevention is better than cure, as they say. So similarly, when it comes to meaning of life questions, it's better to spend some time reflecting on these issues before something happens, such as the loss of a loved one or some other tragedy, misfortune occurring in life.
Think about how much time you've wasted, how you have prioritised the wrong things, how you didn't do what you really wanted to do, how you never really enjoyed the moment but was constantly looking ahead, how time has washed over you. The feeling it's too late can be quite overwhelming. We have to stop sleepwalking through life and consider this issue.
Sometimes you wish, oh, if only the earth could stop still for a while so that I could think about things. I'm reminded of a quotation by Seneca. Seneca said, "People are frugal in guarding their personal property, but as soon as it comes to squandering time, they are most wasteful of the one thing in which it is right to be stingy." So time is very precious.
Step 2. Do not be consumed.
Now, in considering the meaning of life, you may encounter the phenomenon of paralysis by analysis. So you may decide that, can't make much progress on this issue, at least not at the moment, so I'm going to put it on the back burner, so to speak, for a while and revisit the issue at a later stage in life. And that's perfectly acceptable. You don't want to be consumed by this, right? You've got to actually live life. Don't spend too much time thinking about the meaning of life and actually missing life.
The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius said, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." If you do find certain philosophical or psychological topics overwhelming, but still intend to pursue them, then just take a break, revisit at a later time. Remember to be kind to yourself. Take small steps at a time. I always recommend humour to overcome preoccupation. For example, what is the best vitamin to be a happy person? Be one. Step 3. Within or outside your control. Now we're climbing various steps because we're getting nearer and nearer to the waterfall. It was raining last night, so I'm hoping the waterfall will be particularly magnificent today. In the distance is Ullswater Lake, which I visited in my last video. Oh look, I finally have an audience for my YouTube videos. They look like keen philosophy students. Now I shall talk about step 3 here. I hope these students will subscribe to my channel.
We have to accept that some things are outside of our control. The ancient Stoic philosophers believed, for example, that the universe was very deterministic. So, who knows whether the meaning of life is beyond our control? People often say, life is what you make it. And I think we have to act on that assumption. But of course, we face many constraints. Now, some people look to an outside agency to give them meaning of life. So, for example, they may believe in a deity. They may believe in a spiritual force. They may believe in nature. I can't tell whether they're right or wrong. But my approach is try to do things from within, because only things within are within our control. Now, whatever conclusions we draw about the meaning of life, based upon our inner reflection, based on our inner resources, hopefully is entirely consistent with if there is an external determination of the meaning of life. Now, if we are to look within for the meaning of life, this means we have to do some hard work. It's very easy to say the meaning of life is outside of us. It's determined by something external. In a sense, it makes things easier, and that's perfectly respectable. But I'm going to ask you to do some hard work in reflecting on the meaning of life.
Step 4. Individual, not universal, solutions. There's Aira Force waterfall in the distance. We are getting very near. Now above the waterfall is a bridge, and you can look over the bridge and see the waterfall below you. Once you get past the waterfall, there's a stream which is feeding the waterfall. Has some quite scenic views.
Now, one of the problems I would suggest that trips a lot of people up when they come to this question of the meaning of life is they want a grand solution, a universal solution to everything. All people, all circumstances, all periods of history, all issues, they want the complete solution. It's a bit like having a simple formula on a t-shirt. You know, for example, Einstein's E equals mc squared. So simple to put on a t-shirt. And they want something like love conquers all to put on their t-shirt. Now, that may or may not be true of love. I would suggest that we go for a simple solution that's smaller scale, something that's individualized. Because by going for an individual solution, you are personalizing it, you are empowering yourself. It's much more likely to be in your control if it's a small, simple solution.
It may be a small, simple solution. Remember I warned you about having to do hard work. We do need to think about this. After all, our essence is to be the rational animal, the thinking animal. If you want to be dramatic, you could say that you are part of the universe contemplating itself. That's quite a powerful thought. That makes us special. We may be living on a small blue dot in the vast universe, but we are thinking. We have consciousness.
Now, Viktor Frankl said that we do not ask what is the meaning of life. Life asks us, what is your meaning? In other words, the meaning of life has to be individual, And it has to be actively created by us, not simply discovered. Now, Viktor Frankl was a Holocaust concentration camp survivor. He was a renowned psychiatrist. And so definitely he saw up close and raw some of the things that go on in life and ask us to question, what is the meaning of life?
So how will you answer life? There is no one size fits all. After all, t-shirts differ in their sizes. As I have often stressed, you are unique, and probably the solution to the meaning of life for you will involve taking notice of that uniqueness. It's an interesting journey to discover this. Step 5. Show virtue.
In my previous video, I talked about kindness. What it means to be kind is to be helpful, to be useful to others. The ex-movie star, Arnold Schwarzenegger, has written a book, Be Useful. I think it's a good read. There's a philosopher, Peter Singer, who's a world-renowned bioethicist, who's advocated for effective altruism. How best can we use our limited resources to help others? Many of his students go on into work such as working for charities, non-profits and so on. He actually had one student, Matt Wage, I think his name is, who went to Wall Street and made a terrific amount of money. And then he donated a terrific amount of money to charity. So working on Wall Street was his effective way of making a contribution. Now, many people joke that part of the meaning of life is to be successful, to make money. Depends what you're making the money for.
Step 6. Time travel. Let's have a thought experiment. Imagine you are elderly and you could travel back in time, say 50 or 60 years, and visit your earlier self. What advice would you give yourself about the meaning of life? Be careful though what you reveal. One ingredient that adds sparkle to human life is surprise.
Many people, when they are 60, 70, 80 years young, when asked, what would they do different? Do they have any regrets, that sort of thing? Often they will say they wish they'd spent more time with loved ones. And I think that's very important. As a final thought, may I suggest that the meaning of life is connected with authenticity. So, in old age, can you reflect back and say, yes, that's the life I wanted to more or less live. It was authentic. I was true to myself. I mean, of course, there's some things you do maybe slightly differently, but on the whole, there's a sense of satisfaction. It was an authentic life. Now, I hope you've enjoyed this video. The meaning of life for me in the next 1 hour is to go to a nearby village called Pooley Bridge for my lunch. The meaning of life for you in the next 15 seconds is to click subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video. Bye for now.